In recent years, sanctions imposed by Western countries have had a significant impact on the Russian economy, causing a crisis that has affected the lives of millions of people. The sanctions were imposed in response to Russia's actions in Ukraine and its interference in the 2016 US presidential election. While the Russian government has attempted to mitigate these effects of these sanctions, the measures taken have been insufficient to prevent a significant economic downturn. In today's video, we'll be showing you how Putin's terrifying sanctions cause an economic crisis in Russia. Without further ado, let's begin. The sanctions imposed by the United States and the European Union targeted several key sectors of the Russian economy, including energy, finance, and defense. This has led to a reduction in foreign investment and a decline in trade, both of which have had a significant impact on the Russian economy. In addition, the sanctions have restricted access to foreign capital, making it difficult for Russian companies to finance their operations and invest in new projects. One of the most significant effects on the sanctions has been the decline in the value of the Russian ruble itself. The currency has lost over half its value against the US dollar since the imposition of these sanctions, making imports more expensive and reducing the purchasing power of Russian consumers. This has led to a rise in inflation, which has hurt low-income families and contributed to a decline in living standards. The sanctions have also had a significant impact on the energy sector, which is a key driver of the Russian economy. The restrictions on the export of energy resources such as oil and natural gas have reduced the revenue of Russian energy companies, which are a major contributor to the national budget. This has led to a reduction in the government spending on social programs, healthcare, and education, which has then in turn hurt the most vulnerable segments of society. These sanctions have also impacted the banking sector, with many Russian banks being cut off from international financial systems. This has made it difficult for the Russian companies to access credit and has led to a decline in investment in the economy. The banking sector has also been hurt by the decline in value of the ruble, which has led to an increase in bad debts and a rise in the number of bankruptcies. The impact of the sanctions has not been limited to the Russian economy. The crisis has also affected its neighboring countries, such as Ukraine, which has been hit hard by the decline in trade with Russia. The crisis has also had an impact on global energy markets, with the decline in Russian oil prices leading the way in the crisis. And it's also had an impact on global energy markets, with the decline in Russian oil production leading to a rise in overall oil prices. Despite the significant impacts of the sanctions on the Russian economy, the government has had a reluctance to make significant changes to its economic policies. The government has relied on measures such as currency interventions and import substitution to mitigate the effects of the sanctions, but the measures have been insufficient to prevent a significant economic downturn. The effects of the sanctions have been felt across a wide range of industries in Russia. The agricultural sector, which has been one of the few bright spots in the Russian economy in recent years, has also been hurt by the sanctions. The restrictions on imports of certain agricultural products, such as fruits and vegetables, have led to a decline in exports and a rise in food prices. The sanctions have also had an impact on the tourism industry, which has seen a decline in foreign visitors. The decline in value of the ruble has made travel to Russia more expensive, and the negative receptions of the country in the international community has deterred many potential visitors. The crisis has also had an impact on Russia's people's faith in the government and the political system. Many Russians have seen their standard of living decline, and the government's response to the crisis has been seen as insufficient by many. This has led to increased criticism of the government and a decline in support for the ruling party. The crisis has also had an impact on the Russian government's foreign policy, with the country becoming more isolated from the international community. The sanctions have led to a deterioration in relations with the United States and the European Union, and Russia has sought to strengthen its ties with other countries such as China and Iran. The Russian government has attempted to mitigate the effects of the sanctions by diversifying the economy and reducing dependence on foreign markets. The government has also implemented import substitution policies, encouraging domestic production of goods that were previously imported. However, these policies have been met with mixed results, with some sectors of the economy seeing growth while others continue to decline. One of the most significant impacts on the sanctions of Russia has been Russia's energy industry, which has traditionally been a major source of revenue for the country itself. The sanctions have limited access to foreign investment, technology, and expertise, making it difficult for the industry to develop new sources of oil and gas. The decline in global market prices has also hurt the industry, leading to a decline in revenue and investment. This has had a ripple effect on the Russian economy, as the energy sector is a significant driver of growth in other industries. The sanctions have also led to a decline in foreign investment in Russia, as many companies have been deterred by the political risk and uncertainty associated with the sanctions. This has made it more difficult for Russian businesses to access capital, slowing growth and innovation. The restrictions on access to foreign technology and expertise has also hurt the country's research and development capabilities, making it more difficult for the country to compete in the global economy. This crisis has also had a significant impact on the Russian banking sector, which has struggled to attract foreign investment and has seen a decline in the value of the ruble. This has led to a decline in the availability of credit, making it more difficult for businesses to invest and grow in the first place. The decline in value of the ruble has also hurt ordinary Russians, as the cost of import has risen, leading to higher prices for goods and services. The sanctions have also had an impact on the political climate of Russia, with increased tensions between the government and the opposition. The government has been criticized for its handling of the crisis, with many Russians feeling that the government has not done enough to protect their interests. This has led to increased political activism and protest in the country, as well as a rise of anti-government sentiment. In response to the sanctions, the Russian government has pursued a range of policies aimed at reducing the country's dependence on foreign markets and developing new sources of growth. These policies have included efforts to increase domestic production and encourage investment in new industries, such as technology and renewable energy. However, the effectiveness of these policies remains uncertain, and it is unclear whether they'll be enough to address the challenges facing the Russian economy. The sanctions have also affected Russia's relationship with other countries. Many countries, including some of Russia's traditional allies, have imposed their own sanctions in response to Russia's actions in Ukraine and elsewhere. This has further isolated Russia and made it more difficult for the country to pursue its foreign policy objectives. The sanctions imposed by Western countries have had a significant impact on the Russian economy, causing a crisis that has affected the lives of millions of people. The decline in foreign investment, trade, and access to foreign capital, as well as the decline in value of the ruble, have hurt the economy and has reduced the living standards in Russia for many. While the government has attempted to mitigate the effects of the sanctions, more significant changes may be necessary to prevent further damage of the economy and the lives of Russian people. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments section. What would you do? For more interesting content, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. Have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next video.